Hey everybody, what you're watching is pretty crazy. This is MLG Peanut and a live stream in which the 75 whatever random people are voting on what the new melee stats are gonna be, okay? Now to be clear, I'm not blaming MLG for this. He was told to do this by the dev team. This is not his fault. But oh my god, what is the world we live in where whatever random people are like happen to be on when this stream was live, those are the people determining the entirety of Northwind's weapon balance. Okay? The same weapon balance that the devs, Laz, Mason, whatever the fuck, like him or hate him, they spent the last 3 years trying to get in line, okay? Trying to perfect it, trying to get all these meta bullshit things like Great Pike and Long Spear, not Long Spear, fucking Bayonet and all the old metas. They spent the last 3 years pruning and getting all the old metas to not be a problem. And now all of it has been completely thrown out the window because the community is deciding the stats at like random. It's not even the entirety of the community. It's 72 people watching this stream. It later dips down to like 40 people watching the stream. And so it's like 40 random chatters who happen to be on at the time of the stream are voting on things as important as cutlass stats. Like meta weapons are getting decided by 40 random Northwind players. And it's not even like a thing where it's like Ryaz or the head dev or whatever coming in and going, okay, in 2 days there will be a live stream where we vote on this. No, it's like a random out of the blue thing. Out of the blue, just there's a stream where all of the weapon stats are being decided. And you only see melee stuff on the screen right now. But I asked MLG, and he says there's going to be a second one of these live streams where they do all of the guns. And so literally, the entirety of the game's stats are being decided by random chatters who happen to be on at the time and are partaking in these little fucking straw polls, okay? That's absurd to me. Especially when you have a dev team that lauds themselves as this like really organized, involved group that's gonna come in and save the game. And then they care so little about the stats of their weapons that they outsource it to random people who happen to be watching a live stream. It's not even a live stream that was announced in advance. It just happened. Plop, live stream, okay, all of the weapon stats are being decided, gone in an hour. That's insane. There's a reason the developer team comes together and builds a functioning weapon system. There's a reason dev teams don't go to the community and say, here, do our weapon balancing for us. Because, not to be an asshole, but people who just play the game, they have their favorite weapons, they have their biases, they have things they see just like, oh, this has too many swings, this has too many swings, let's buff the damage. They're not sitting here looking at a full picture. They're not looking at all 70 plus fucking Northwind weapons and thinking, how do these fall on the continuum between high damage, very slow, low damage, very fast. They're not looking at all of the individual stats and how they work together like cogs in a machine. They're like, oh, I hate this weapon, let's nerf this weapon. Masterwork sucks, let's nerf it. Masterwork's terrible. Cutlass, let's nerf Cutlass. Let's stop all this spam meta. And don't get me wrong, spam meta's cringe, but this is not the way to go about fixing any of it. Okay? This is so unproductive. And I am just astounded that the dev team was like, yeah, what the fuck, let's outsource it to the community? This is one of, if not the most important things that they have to get right as a team. Weapon balance, the melee combat, the systems in this game are like paramount. The melee systems, the gun systems, the combat in this game is one of the defining features of Northwind and one of the things that makes it so unique as a Roblox game compared to like Meat fucking City or any of the other front pagers. Like Northwind is a really intricate game with really intricate weapon stats and balancing. And I'm not saying balancing's perfect, it's rarely ever perfect. But the last thing you want to do is to put your whole ass 70 plus weapons up to a vote, a straw poll, with 40 random chatters who happen to be online. It's insane to me. It's just crazy. I'm astounded. And again, I'm not blaming MLG. It's not his fault. He was told to do this. Now, I am annoyed because he refuses to answer a million fucking questions I have about this horrible autistic system. But that's a different fucking thing. That's a different argument entirely. We're not getting into that right now. What we are getting into is the absurdity of the fact that the devs outsourced the weapon stats to 40 random chatters. I know it says 72. The stream goes on for like another, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, and it gets down to 40. I shit you not. 40 random chatters are determining weapon stats. The thing that we spend all our time arguing about because it's so fucking important. Imagine that. The cutlass determined by 40 random chatters who happen to be online. And I know I'm repeating myself at this point because I'm just so astounded. But oh my god. Why is this the system they chose to go with? Why didn't they congregate and discuss this stuff as a group? You know? Why isn't the dev team coming together and figuring this stuff out themselves? That's their responsibility. That's their job as the new owners of this game. They need to get this stuff right. It's not up to the randoms in the community to come together and put together a balanced system. Because the randoms in the community, no offense, but they don't think like developers. They don't have the all-encompassing mindset of I'm a video game developer. They're coming in here with their own biases, with the weapons they like, with the weapons they hate. They're not coming in here thinking about the continuity of like weapons and the whole fucking expanse of 70 plus things they have to balance on this like line of high damage, slow, low damage, fast, essentially. And that's a big oversimplification because there's so many other stats. There's going to be like swing styles, there's like stamina consumption, there's the speed at which the swing is physically swung, there's the rate at which you can swing, so the cooldown between swings, there's the reach of the melee. There's so many different things to tweak, and the last thing you want is all of that put up to randoms in chat. And this isn't even an accurate estimation of the community. That's the problem. Well, that's one of the problems. This is like 68 right now. 40 to 60 people, 40 to 70 people, we'll be fair. 40 to 70 people determining all of this. That is actually astounding. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on this awful, awful scenario we found ourselves in, where the devs have outsourced weapon balance to randoms in a chat. I can't believe it. My jaw was on the floor. I DM'd Ryaz like an hour afterwards. No, I DM'd him faster. I DM'd him like 30 minutes afterwards, you know? I DM'd him really fast. I was just astounded. I'll pull it up real quick. I was just like dumbfounded. I was like, what the fuck is this? He didn't respond to me, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I was just like, I was at a loss for words when I saw this. I was just like, what the fuck? You know? And this is kind of catty of me, but I think something like this is worth it. You know? There are some limited aspects of game development you can trust your community with, but this is not one of them. The outsourcing of weapon balance is not one of them. This is wild. Not to tell you how to do your job, but this part is your job. The job of the dev team is to create a functioning system out of the 70 plus melees and ranged weapons, not a random percentage of community voters who happen to be online and tuned into the stream at the time. You know? It's kind of catty, but it's absolutely true. I'm astounded. I've said it 5 times now. I just can't get over this. This crazy, crazy system of weapons we've got now. So, thank you for listening to this Unhinged TED Talk. Wow. Yeah, that's my thoughts on what just happened. And that's my thoughts on the upcoming weapon balance stream, where MLG streams all the guns, and then a straw poll of 40 chatters gets to vote on what their stats are. Holy fucking shit. Please, devs, just make the weapon system, okay? Or better yet, leave it as is and tweak the outliers, tweak the OP stuff. You don't need to redo everything just at the drop of a hat, and you sure as shit don't need to base it on 40 random chatters. So, yeah, I'm mad. You can tell I'm mad. Thank you all for watching.